Let's go.
Absoluut, ons is live. Goeienaand aan al ons luisteraars van Tussen Dorings. Ek wil weer sê welkom by nog 'n inspirerende uitgawe van ons spesiale program. Ek is die aanbieder vanaand, Dr. JJ, en kom ek sê vir vanaand het ons die voorreg om met 'n besonderse jong dame te gesels wat besig is om haar merk te maak. Jy weet, soos jy weet, Tussen Dorings is net 'n program nie. Ek moet vir julle sê dit is 'n platform van menswees, 'n plek waar ons eerlik kan wees oor die dorings in ons lewens en natuurlik die uitdagings, die teleurstellings, die struikelblokke, maar ook die groei, die oorwinnings en die geloof wat ons dra wanneer dinge miskien bietjie moeilik raak. Kom ek sê vir u vanaand, ons gas kom uit die pragtige, ja, ek sê pragtige Breede Valleistreek, spesifiek uit 'n baie klein maar besonderse dorpie daar aan die kant van die Dorings. En ek moet jou sê, die Doringse gemeenskap wat bekend staan vir hulle harde werk, natuurlik. Kyk jy, dis mense met deursettingsvermoë en mense wat groot drome natuurlik en uitdagings byvoorbeeld 'n werklikheid maak. Maar net voor ons absoluut verder gaan, ek wil net gou vinnig hê sodat ons gou breek, net gou vir 'n advertensie breek en dan net gou vir ons ondersteuners baie dankie sê vir Elsedai vir hulle onbaatsigtige diens. Ek gaan net vir ons regisseur vra. Ek wil u nie gou vir ons net gou daai advertensie speel nie terwyl ons nou gou regmaak vir ons gas.
Elsedai begrafnisdienste in die gemeenskap, uit die gemeenskap, vir die gemeenskap.
Wanneer harte swaar is en families mekaar nodig het, is Elsedai begrafnisdienste een naam waarop jy kan vertrou. Met meer as 30 jaar ondervinding stap ons die pad saam met jou, van die eerste oproep tot die laaste groet. Ons verstaan dat elke lewe uniek is. Daarom behandel ons elke familie met waardigheid, eer en respek. Van volledige begrafnisredings, professionele verwyderingsdienste, 24 uur beskikbaar, tot ons persoonlike graf en huisopstellings. Ons sorg vir elke detail, sodat jy kan fokus op dit wat werklik saak maak. Ons bied ook livestreamdienste, sodat geliefdes naby en ver deel kan wees van die afskeid. By Elsedai glo ons in die gemeenskap, uit die gemeenskap, vir die gemeenskap. Ons is nie net 'n diensteverskaffer nie, ons is 'n span wat saam met jou staan tot die heel laaste. Elsedai begrafnisdienste, because everyone deserves a dignified farewell.
Elsedai, baie dankie. Dames en here, vanaand bring ons vir julle net 'n storie nie. We bring you a journey. 'n Reis van 'n jong pragtige dame wat haar lewe begin het in die simpelstrate van die Dorings. 'n gemeenskap, kykie, waar almal mekaar ken. Die Dorings, 'n plek waar values gevorm word. Kykie, rondom families, rondom mense, rondom gemeenskap, rondom die almal in die straat. Dis nog 'n plek waar respek en harde werk nog tel. En vanaand verwelkom ons nou net 'n spesiale gasie, maar ek dink voor ons vir Nteboheng miskien nou live bring, kan ek gou my regisseur van kom ons verwelkom vir haar op die Tussen Dorings manier. Ek dink daar's 'n gediggie wat ons voorberei het en dan kan ons nou lekker gesels. Aan my regisseur, kan ons gou vir haar daai gediggie opdra.
Die roos en die doring. Tussen dorings, tussen stryd, waar die wêreld stukken blyk, staan daar tog 'n sagte blom, vol van hoop, vol van droom. Elke wond en elke letsel, en elke traan wat stilweg spikkel, vertel 'n storie diep en swaar, maar bring 'n lig, bring 'n gebaar. Die roos bloei, al is die nag lank. Haar geur dra sag oor klip en rank. Want tussen dorings, skerp en straf, bly liefde oor, bly lewe reg. So groei ons ook in elke skeur, vind ons lig, al is dit te seer. Want in die doringveld se kring, bly hoop 'n immerblomme sing.
So sê daar sê sy dan goeienaand Tebo, welkom by ons. Jo, kykie man, sê net 'n bietjie hallo daar vir die mense. En kom ons vertel 'n bietjie vir ons gaste. Eers dit lyk my ons sit op 'n kragonderbreking aan hierdie kant, maar nietemin, wie is Tebo? En dan sê gou vir my, hoe was dit om groot te word in die Dorings en ek bedoel en wat het jou 'n bietjie gevorm die persoon wat jy is vandag?
Good evening to everyone watching, and thank you very much for having me this evening. To many who know me, my name is Nteboheng. To those who don't, I am a 25-year-old. People struggle to actually put the age to the face. I don't know, probably look younger than my age or something. But I'm born and bred from the Thorns, as they say, in the Dorings, or as it's locally known. Actually residing in Sunnyside Orchard, but I prefer using the Dorings as a whole collectively. Growing up in the Thorns, I guess it's a very small community. It's a very small town where most of people and their talents are hidden. And for you to actually make a name for yourself and actually to be known and to be placed out there, you have to just rise out of the Thorns and put yourself out there and experience a lot of things. With fear actually being nervous and all of that, but just to put yourself out there and just be some inspiration to a lot of young people growing up. Nteboheng is a very simple person. I'm a very unique person. I like keeping things simple actually. And to those who know me, I love dressing up. I love a special occasion. I love looking and expressing myself through fashion and to clothes even. And that's me basically.
And if I can quickly ask you, if you can take us quickly back to I know, how was your school years like? Let's take me from primary. Los is the pre-primary. I so right. I is after. But from your primary school years, right into high school years. If you can maybe just vividly, maybe can take us there. How was your experience to grow up in a school like that?
In a school, I was the girl who was always placed in a tin. I would always just keep my circle small, my surrounding, even with that, stayed very small.
Awesome.
I'm a nervous person, so I get nervous when being placed out there or put it on the spot. So I would just retrieve myself and just go back into my shell. And high school, I didn't have a lot of opportunities or access to a lot of things. So it was quite simple for me to just stay in my nutshell and not do a lot to actually express myself or to showcase myself to a lot of people. So my primary and high school years were absolutely one of the best years I can actually say I've had in my whole entire life. Like they said, grown-ups usually like to say after high school, you're really going to experience a life. And hey, life was lifing very hard. But throughout and through all, I'm still standing, and with all of that, I haven't given up on what I want to achieve and where I want to be. I'm still thriving, and I'm still heading towards that goal of mine.
And then obviously after high school, normally you find yourself, listen here, everybody after matric, you find maybe you're somehow in an uncertain space. But exactly. I know somehow people, maybe you have your wish list, you have maybe your vision board or something like that. But now you must remember, once you done with high school, all of a sudden you must remember the learner guide is gone, the mentorship of the teachers is gone. You find yourself, wow, what? No, want to know. And Kiki, just take us what happened that Kiki, now after you received your results. Kijk, there's no gaan matriculeren nou. But what can you tell us? What did you have already any plans for immediately after school? Maybe any further studies or whatever? Just take us through that, please.
I didn't directly, exactly on the spot have any
Okay.
plans for after school, but being raised under a very strict hand, in Afrikaans sê hulle, ek is 'n ouma kind. I was raised by
Okay.
my grandmother, and she was very, very strict. And I was eventually through the
Yeah, I can
process of
see.
going through the process of like, I want to take a gap year. I want to gather myself. I want to collect
Wow.
myself to actually find footing of where I want to be and what I want to do.
Beautiful.
And
Awesome.
eventually I didn't have that opportunity. I had to enroll in college, which was Bulan College Worcester campus, and from there I started
Beautiful.
educating. I actually graduated from it, but for me it wasn't my first choice. It wasn't my first option in study. So after that, I've been finding my footsteps of where I want to be. I didn't give up though. I just kept continuing and kept going. So for me, I'm still in the process where I know now what I do want to do and what I do want to, where I want to be actually. But it was tough back then. But for now, I think our youngsters have it even tougher. For people who go from matric to the adulthood,
Come
it's
on.
a lot. It's
Come
a
on.
process you have to
Come
like and
on.
just gather yourself, collect yourself, and take
Yeah.
a deep, very deep breath and just be like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. This is my drawing board. This is where I want to be, and I am at my
Yeah.
starting point right now. So, in
Wow.
order for me to
I
get where
listen
I
here.
want to
Sure.
be, I
It is
have to
awesome.
like
Listen here,
baby
but
steps.
earlier you've mentioned, you must remember, me as you must remember, I've just about 2 years ago graduated with my PhD in philosophy. So
Nice.
my my background, my experience is in transformational leadership and management. So which means that is my forte. But you must remember, and for us as philosophers, you must remember where the normal person in the street calculate
Yes.
terms in the use per centimeter or meter. You must remember, we as philosophers, we define things in millimeters. So sorry if I zoom in on a couple of things or you whatsoever, but you mentioned something earlier about, there was a bit of an introvert, but
Yes.
where does this person come from? How did that transformation happen? Did it happen this past high school, the confidence? Because I must say, listen here, it's difficult to me to believe when you explain that to me, but okay, that's a long story.
It actually started in college because I had a small group of friends and we share a lot amongst our friends. And with
Yes.
that being said, there was this one competition of Mr. and Mrs. and Miss Bolan College, sorry. And I
Okay.
was like, no, guys, I do not want to enter. I feel like those who see the opportunity and want it by all means should just take the lead and enter. And
Come on.
they usually put up posters on the draw on the board where each and every newsletter goes out for you to just go read. If there's even the slightest of information that you might need or might help you, you will
Yes.
find it there. And I came across a paper where the list of names was placed of the contestants actually of Mr. and Miss Bolan College. And when I went down the list, I saw my
Dank
name and I
u.
was like, this was not me. I don't know who did this, but whoever did this should just go and introduce themselves as Nteboheng Timati because I did not put my name down the paper. And from there on, they were like my motivation. They were my push
Wow.
to actually just go
Wow.
because they saw something I couldn't see in myself. And from
Wow.
there on forward, I had to put the introverted me aside and actually just blossom and bloom to be the person I'm today.
Wow. And listen here, and after today, did you ever find out maybe push up maybe a little bit of investigation skill? Is it a Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous that that
I
put up?
actually did find them and I told them I'm going to make them pay one day.
Ah,
I
no, okay,
did.
but it's a good thing. It's absolutely a good thing. And then the other thing is this. But before we go really deep into our conversation, I know somewhere somehow there is the part of the community that shape one another. And if there is maybe if is there something somehow maybe instances maybe situations that you can recall or maybe even names or people that you can really reflect back that came as your mentors and people like that you can really say, okay, wow, well, if it wasn't for that in the community, miskien het, maybe your involvement in the community or whatever, what caused you really to blossom like this?
Most likely my involvement in the community is based in sport. I am a netball
Okay.
player on weekends and I live for netball
Wow,
action. And I would love for each and every youngster to just be given the
wow,
opportunity to express themselves, whether it's through sport or academics. And all of us are not that
wow,
strong when it comes to academics.
wow,
So wherever you get the opportunity to just express yourself, whether it's on a rugby field or a soccer field or even a netball match. You just be given the opportunity for you to express yourself. And I come from streets where I, day by day, each and every day, see where youngsters literally just throw up. They give up,
Wow.
they let
It's
go of
so
everything. The slightest
wow.
change that happens is
Wow.
demotivation for them. So
Come on, man.
for me, that was something that was actually said, because for me, for everyone I see on the streets of young children playing ball or something like, I see further than that. I see a young girl or boy growing up to be something better, something the community might need in the future,
Wow.
or even the slightest chance, someone who might lead and serve with purpose in our community, where we look up to older people for guidance and people who could just take our hands and lead us. We don't always have that in our small communities. So it takes a lot for
Mm-mm.
someone to just notice the smallest of change in our communities and be like, you know what, I want to actually help that person. Or I see
Wow.
more potential in you than you see in yourself. So please do not go down this lane, but rather go right or left, or do
Here
something
we go.
better than what I did as a adult in this age right now. So we don't have a lot
Wow.
of those people who can actually just take us by the hand and be like, you know what, I can see your vision and I can see your goal. So I want to help you take small baby steps in order of achieving that vision and goal. And for me, that was one of the highlights in my life. For I have people right all over around me, even in my household, my family. They are one of the biggest supporters I could ever
Of
have
course.
imagined could actually be there for me.
Of
And even
course.
strangers too. For a lot of people I do not know, I don't know a lot of people, but for the support and love I've been receiving, I am thoughtfully and very much thankful for that.
Wow.
But they are part of my grooming, my shaping, and the person I'm actually becoming.
You see, what we're gonna try to do now is that, wow, there's Kayo. Kayo, I said, Gwe, together we will make a change in our town, girl. But also, Gwe also mentioned something earlier about something about Miss South Africa. So, Kiki, before we go to this, to you know, to this the South Africa thing, I wanna, Miskin, can I ask maybe my director, maybe just to bring that there's a video. Let us play out to our viewers that video. If you can maybe just retrieve that for me. Director, please.
Freedom was fought for, but for many, safety still isn't free. My name is Zanzi. My name is Nteboheng Timati, a 25-year-old born and bred in a beautiful small town called the Dorings, locally known as Idixie in the Western Cape. It is with honor standing here in front of you today as I have decided to enter Miss South Africa 2026. I enter as a woman from a small township where opportunity is a dream, beauty measured by a pretty face, hope simply being told you're not good enough, and your mental health, something you carry like it's the only prized possession you own. I stand here to redefine what it means to be smart and beautiful, to advocate inclusivity and a sense of belonging. I stand here to empower Mzansi, especially the ones who feel left out, that they too can rise beyond limits and build careers beyond convention. Education, no certificate should stand between you and reaching your goals. The time for transformational leaders to take action is here and it's now. As I advocate for young South Africans with dreams to create independence and a future that they believe in, to chase and challenge their wildest dreams. As our paths may be different, but as different as they are and as unique as they are, they deserve to be challenged. Chance is the only thing stopping you from reaching your goal. Embarrassment is an unexplored emotion. Go out there and make a complete fool of yourself. My entry is to make a difference, to be a beacon of hope once lost, and to also be part of a platform bigger than myself. For each is our priority, our people, our communities. Given the opportunity to become your Miss South Africa 2026. Thank you.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Listen here. I can listen for hours to you, man. To be, oh, you know, and And I believe that the time has come that we as a community, we need to really behind our people, as South Africans, and specifically where you find yourself in a position where you can bring value into the place, where you can bring order into where there's chaos, where you can bring transformation. Kyk, as ons nou nie my by interview nie, maar I'm very excited, which means, it is important that one need to understand. But back to the question, to that video that was just viewed. You know what? I must tell you that we understand that, yes, the application was submitted to become a contestant, in the Miss South Africa, competition. But if I can ask you, what inspired you to enter for the competition? But you can just speak in general, and then also in when did this dream start? Become some sort of the picture become a bit more clear. That, listen here, let me throw my name in the head, and if you may be out of that, know the platform that this entire competition can bring to the front. And I know maybe there's the difference in the society itself, what it can bring plays a huge role. But let me leave it to you to answer.
Well, to first answer your first question, what inspired me was the words of people telling me that you will never reach and achieve what you want to achieve. People putting me in a tin, people who have decided my destiny for me, and people who just placed their projections upon me, whether that I will achieve my goals or reach my dreams. That was my inspiration. That was my motivation to even not just convince them that I will get where I want to be, but to convince myself also that I am capable of much more than I project upon myself. And Miss Essie for me was not about the crown actually, but it's for each and every young girl and boy out there who have big dreams to inspire people out there and also inspire themselves that your dreams are not big enough for the Lord we actually serve. No dream is big enough for God. And in the right steps, baby steps you take each and every day, you will achieve each and every dream that you run or face towards. And for me, my entry was basically just to be an inspiration to those young ones who have lost all types of hope, whether they are going to achieve their dreams or whether they're going to end up in streets, being part of gang members, violence, and each and everything you can find upon the streets nowadays. For them to actually just rise from the ashes like a phoenix and chase their wildest dreams in becoming who they actually want to be. And with my Miss Essay applications, it went viral and I did not expect it. It was for me just, I want to take my shot. For the young girl inside me who consistently said each and every year, I'm not ready. This is not my year. I just took the leap of faith this year and told myself, if I'm going to continue waiting for the right time might never come. I have to chase and I have to grab each and every opportunity and seize it right away. And for me this year, it was not because people were pushing me to actually enter. It was something that I sat down with myself and innerly just decided, you know what? This might actually be the right time. If I'm going to continue waiting for tomorrow might never come. Tomorrow's never promised. So what about now? How about you decide now and take the leap of faith and do something for yourself and for your community in helping and shaping a better community for everyone.
Wow, listen, it feels like we're prepping you for your final question. We're prepping you for your final question. But listen, I know representing the Dorings and the Breda Valley, coming from a smaller community, you must remember it often carrying, the hope and dreams of many people that is with you. But what I wanted to ask you, but how does it feel to represent the Dorings in the Breda Valley region? I know all of a sudden the once people become aware that your head is in, which means immediately you can you can clear yourself because there's a buzz and there's noise and everybody's excited. But what does that bring to album? What does people say? Is there a rally behind you? Is there people that really say, listen here, this is our girl?
In fact, I have a whole community behind me.
Wow.
And I am so, so proud and thankful for each and every one of them. So those I know and those I do not know, I'm very,
Yeah.
very, very thankful and proud of each and every one who actually believes in me. And for someone
Wow.
out there, it could be a small girl who actually feels like, you know what, I'm not receiving the support I actually feel like I need from home or from my family. But out there, you might have actually the biggest support system you could have ever imagined, you could have ever had. And I actually didn't expect that because our community is so small. Our people are so for themselves and people are just minding their business. With that being said, I have the greatest support system and I'm thankful for God for that. And one thing about me is that I do not allow the projections of people influence my thoughts, even my plans for myself as a person. I respect that people have their own projections of another
That's
person or
awesome.
even myself in this case. And it will end
Wow.
there. It will be the projections. It will
Indeed.
not be
Indeed.
my story. It will not be
Wow.
my life.
Yes. I don't want to pause you there, Kiki. I want you to roll. You're on the roll here. But another question. But what keeps you moving? What keeps you motivated? Because I believe that in the morning when you wake up and and you face the day and you take the first the first assignment of the day on your busy schedule or on your diary. But what keeps you going when you look around, when you look where you come from, and even the challenges that sometimes that one face in a day-to-day life. But what keeps you moving forward?
The grace and God and the mercy of
Thank you.
experience a new
Awesome.
day each and every day. That keeps me going.
Oh,
For each and every day, I take as an opportunity to, you know what, today you can do even better than yesterday. Yesterday is
yeah,
behind you. What are you going to do
yeah,
today that could actually help a young life? Each and every day is a day where you can just be an example to someone. Each and every day is a day where you can just change the life of a young one, even where people wake up in a lot of different struggles. You don't know what someone or what fight someone had to put up to actually wake up the next day in order for them to chase their dreams. You know, the pressure on someone's shoulders of the situation back at home that you're facing. So each and every day should just be a day of being thankful for the grace and mercy God has shown and given you, and just face the day without it being a difficult day or without it being a day where people just keep on pushing and placing you on the floor where you just by all means are fighting to rise and fighting to just get through the
yeah,
day. So for me, it's just the grace and mercy of God
yeah. And
that
and
keeps me
obviously
going.
you absolutely listen here. I'm totally excited because yes, for me, I will say that you must remember it's always the moment when you open your mouth and the moment when you utter the words God first. I have no other choice but become more and more excited for where God is really taking you. And if you look at, you must remember at, I know there's a lot of struggles in our society. There's
Mhm.
people that struggle with challenges like finance, poverty. There's goals in lives that people ever wanted to do, to become this or that, and people that never had the opportunity to really to reach out to the dream. That's it, Jade. We are super proud of you, Tebo. But nevertheless, thank you, Jade. So but if I can ask you a question, uh, if it should happen that you are selected, what impact do you think? I think somewhere you must have a list already in the back of your mind. What impact would you think you would like to bring to your community? Okay, I know sometimes you stand up and say, "Wow, if I had the opportunity, I would change that." Wow, if I had the opportunity, you already mentioned a couple of things, but I don't worry or mind even if you repeat that again, just for the listeners and the viewers really to understand this. So, if you look in your community, you're wearing the crown. What impact do you think you can bring? What is the message? There's a young man, there's a young lady out there that's listening tonight to this conversation, or whenever they have the opportunity. So if I would have maybe able to challenge you, or maybe not challenge, but maybe ask you, if the opportunity has been given to you to really, and I want you to speak from the bottom of your heart. There's a young woman listening tonight, a young man listening tonight. People go through trials and so forth. But what message, if you would have been given the opportunity, what message is there from you to them tonight, as a role model, as an ambassador, as a person standing? The t-shirt is clear. What now? Over to you.
To actually go back to what you said before, what I would like to create, I don't want to change anything because we are already in a society where each and every day there is change being inflicted in people's lives. But the opportunity for our young people to create a safe space of opportunity and limitless access to
Come on.
people actually being and to provide actually just a safe space for people to be able to chase their goals, to actually be and have an imaginary beyond their wildest dreams, for them to dream so big that one day when they walk upon a stage, a platform, a job interview, even as well, where they can say, you know what? Once upon a time, this was only just an imagination. This was once upon a time just a thought. Who knowed God would actually just open such a door for me? And for each and every young person out there, I would love actually for them, since I work, I'm a part-time assistant at Orchard Primary School, so I interact a lot with youngsters, young children, and a lot of them lack the support system they actually wish they had. And for me, I want to actually put that initiative out there, make a safe space for them where they actually can receive that support, because we all come from different households, we come from different backgrounds, and each and everyone's background is not the same. And for everyone or anyone to actually understand where you're coming from, you have to be the one who takes the lead in introducing them to what you come from, into where you're heading. And for that, I want to say to young people out there, being stagnant in a place doesn't determine your future or what your future looks like. Fall, keep falling, and keep on falling, and keep getting up and rise from the ashes as much as you can. But do never, never stop dreaming, and never stop getting up from that. Keep on going, keep on running, in fact, if you have to. But in order for you to get to your dream, be the sprinter, sprint towards your dream and keep going. But one thing you should never do is give up on yourself, on your dreams, and on the person you actually want to become, because if you will not do it for yourself, no one can. It comes from you. It takes you to actually put yourself where you want to be.
Oh my goodness. I always wanted to ask you, can you please repeat that again? But nevertheless, listen here. In closing, I'm just scared to our viewers out there. I'm so sorry. Load shedding is one of the things that we deal with, and it is just there. It's become part of the family. I'm just scared that my connection might maybe just drop us there. But just in closing quickly, you know what? But before you give your closing remarks, is that I just want to thank you for sharing your story, for sharing your dreams, and even your vision with us. And you must remember that your journey. Ooh, I must calculate my words now. Your journey reminds us that greatness is not determined by
Yes,
where you come from, but
indeed.
by the courage, where we have to pursue our purpose. You know what? It is important that I want to speak over you tonight, that may doors continue. I pray that may doors continue to open, and I want to speak over you that may opportunities, is a mooi woord,
Mm,
multiply, yet and continue, Louis. And as God is elevates you, that the elevation brings you more hope. It brings more favor. It brings more space, and that the territory where you enter into is marked, and that your footsteps, your footprints, becomes ever eminent part of the soil. But that's
yes.
not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say even to our listeners is that never underestimate, viewers, please, the Dorings mense, what you see here tonight. Don't underestimate the power of a dream. I want to tell you that every successful person started exactly where they were, but it is with a vision and with courage to take the first step. That is important.
Yes.
Important. I want to tell our young people, keep on believing, keep on growing, keep on showing up. And as what Tebo mentioned here tonight was, and never stop pursuing your purpose. Now back to the question. Ek het nou nie vergeet vir jou nie. So, so if I may ask, what would you finally would advise someone out there watching our youth from South Africa that has a dream but is afraid to pursue it? I've mentioned something, but you can continue in closing, and then you can somehow say thank you to the listeners also. Over to you.
What I first want to say is be yourself. Know yourself. Know the person within yourself and where the person is heading to. Don't wish to be me, for instance, or don't wish to be another person who you see out there as a role model, climbing the ladder to the corporate world or to wherever. But be yourself. Dig deep in yourself and find where does this young girl or boy want to be in the near or far future. It is within you, it lies within you. It just needs the right amount of watering, taking caring, and also the blossoming after that. You will definitely reap the fruits of what you have planted. And to never, never, never forget that God is able. He is able to take you to places you could only dream about. And I'm one of those people. I have witnessed the mercies and the goodness of God in my life. And to the point where I am today, I am not where I want to be yet. But I keep, and each and every day is a reminder that I am a few steps away from reaching my goal. And to never give up, basically. Because if you're going to give up, you're giving up on something bigger than yourself, something God has written in the scriptures of you, something people have been looking up to that you don't see within yourself, something a young girl even self who has been seeing it. You know what? You might be my role model someday or out there. Keep on pursuing your dreams. Keep on dreaming as wild as you want to. Because if you're not going to do it, no one is going to do it for you. I've mentioned this. And with that being said, your dreams are not too big. Your dreams are not too small. Your dreams are not the community you come from. It's
Come
for
on.
you and you to rise to where you want to be. And
Come
for
on.
me,
On.
I'm a girl from Sunnyside Orchard in the Dorings. And people have been asking me, are you really, really from the Dorings? And I'll be like, and that's my hometown. I'm a proud of the Dorings. I will not lie and say I come from another.
Oh,
I am
goodness.
proud of my community. I'm proud of where I come from.
Come
I'm
on.
proud of my background. And it will be an ongoing story, even where I have to like stand on the
Come
stage,
on.
whether I have to stand
I
on
love
the stage,
that.
whether it has to be the crown on my head. But the Dorings is a place that
I
will be
love it.
known, not only
I
through
love
me,
it.
but a lot of young people who will take the first lead in rising, who will take the
Wow.
first step in telling themselves, you know what? Today I'm grabbing the bull by the horns and I am chasing my dreams. To not be inflicted about people's projections in their lives. It's people's projections, by the way. It does not determine where you're going or whether you're staying or
Come
going,
on, man.
but it will
Come
only
on.
be the same someone else who was too scared to chase his dreams.
Yes.
And
Yes.
never someone's projections be the story you tell your kids or grandchildren or even people for that matter, that you know what, I once upon a time gave up on a dream because someone said. Those were someone's words, but God has the last and very last say about your life, and so should you.
Awesome. Listen here, I'm sorry for a moment. My eyes goes here to the bottom of the screen, and as the viewers just the messages it just keep on pouring in, pouring in, pouring in, pouring in. And you know what? One wish we would have more time and really could go on for hours and hours. But I can tell you, listen here. The sunlight is on you. Your star is going higher and higher. God's mercy is over you. God's grace is over you. God's blessings is over you. And tonight, to our viewers, I just want to tell you, listen here, thank you so much for tuning in. This is where we're going to stop for tonight. I'm going to ask my director there just to play that clip of our fun run. But before we close off, we're going to close with that advert. Just one last thing to our viewers. Learn to dream big.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name. Fort Minor.
Wow. Thank you to the viewers. Please, if you have the opportunity, our fun run is coming up. Please press the dial in completing your application forms, because we'd love you to be part of it. But this then, as we leave it there, I want you to stay focused and let your light shine. I want to tell you, stay blessed. Take care. Goodbye. Have a nice evening.